Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:03. It's 34 degrees, and it is officially Q101 Twisted Christmas Day. It starts today, and we go all the way through Friday, 4 days, and the extravaganza that we look forward to every year, and basically our Christmas card to you. It's an in-person Christmas card. People behind the scenes, let's not pretend it's me, Kenzie, or Case here working on these bands. It's the people behind the scenes. And behind us, the offices back there that make these bands happen and deliver it. Cage the Elephant tonight, sold out with Franz Ferdinand. Of course, we have the Pumpkins on Thursday, sold out. And Billy Corgan will be on the show today at 7:50 talking about that and all the other stuff of this year. Plus, of course, night two, All-American Rejects, The Maine, Andrew McMahon, and Dexter and the Moonrocks. My favorite new band of 2024, Dexter and the Moonrocks. And then Bush, of course, on Friday. So there's some tickets available for a couple of these shows. A couple of them are sold out. So go to Q101.com. That last fervor that you say, hey, I think I can go now. Maybe some side hustle paid off enough where you can buy a ticket, last minute. Or, maybe a friend has a +1 and you're going to get in. We're happy about that. We can't wait to see you. And this is our Super Bowl 4 nights in a row every year here with Q101. And it just means a ton to us to see you on site at the Aragon, our home away from the NBC Tower.
Yes, we are so excited. This is the party. This is my first Twisted Christmas. Not pregnant, bitches.
Oh, I didn't even think of it that way.
Hell
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stairs are going to be significantly easier and less terrifying this year as a whole. I'm just really excited about the whole thing.
You know what would have been cool? Or actually, maybe not cool?
What?
If the Aragon had installed escalators this year. Like the year you were pregnant, you didn't have those?
It was literally last year was the most terrifying experience because there's quite a few stairs at the Aragon.
Quite a few.
And it's pretty dark in there with the bands going on. And I could not see my feet. And I was just like, I'd put my foot out and like really touch the next level and then go down and then really touch the next level. And I felt like every time I got upstairs, Lauren would send a text and be like, group photo at the very bottom of the Aragon. I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 45 minutes.
Yeah, so happy you're not pregnant this year.
I know. It's going to be a party. I get to enjoy our sponsors more. I'm very excited.
Great sponsors. Jamie from Piatone checked in and said she will see us tonight. And, of course, our great sponsors with the alcohol portion of that. Being pregnant's a buzzkill when you have, of course, Heineken Silver and White Claw and all that. So, Jamie and Piatone, we will find you. We will see you. A lot of people saying, where are you going to be? We're going to be there, Jamie and Piatone. And for all the people in Piatone that are coming to Q101 Twisted Christmas all week long, you won't miss us. We're roaming the venue. It's big, but it's not that big. You kind of can see everybody in the Aragon from a certain vantage point. You kind of see all 4,000 people kind of hanging out.
You can do a quick scan. You're tall as hell, too.
I like seeing everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look for Brian.
Yeah.
I'll probably be next to him, but you won't be able to see me as well.
No, it won't be that easy.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And it is time for a fact that makes your brain go. And this involves the wonderful holiday season where many of you travel home and hang out at your parents' house, the house you grew up in, for the holidays. Whether it's way outside the city, whether it's just down the street, a lot of people spend the night still at your parents' house, whether it's for Christmas, whether it's for a couple days. I always did this. I always had to go back and spend time in the house. And you end up sometimes, with a house packed of either, because they bring spouses or kids, and your house you grew up in, which was always, you realize, was too small when all these 15 people come in there. But this is the fact today, and we'll tell you in 5 minutes exactly what this is. What's the first thing you do in the holidays when you go back in the house you grew up in, your parents' house, your house, however you want to call it? So the first thing, and 52% of Chicagoans, this is number one of the first thing they do when they go into the house you grew up in. What do you think that is, Kenzie?
Okay, so I am going to break the mold here, and I apologize, but I don't get to go back to the house I grew up in, because I grew up in like 8 houses, and my parents live in none of them. So
Are they all burned down since then?
They're all burned down.
They're all gone?
And,
Did you burn them down?
that was my next sentence. And so I don't get to visit them, but it makes for awkward conversation, because everyone always assumes it's the house you grew up in. And my parents apparently found some money after we grew up. I'm like, I did not live in this house. And
I grew up with no air conditioning, and my parents got air conditioning after me, the 4th child, moved out.
Exactly. They save all this money.
Yeah.
See? It's unbelievable. But everyone always asks me questions like I grew up in the house. So when my husband and I like visit my parents, he's like, where are the cops? Where are these? I'm like, I don't know where anything is. I never lived here.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks that you've lived there.
Right.
I never have.
So in this situation, the question is, people that did grow up in the house, and they
Yes.
go home there for the holidays, 52% of Chicagoans, this is the first thing they do when they get back in the house they grew up in. What do you think that is?
I bet they go into the basement to look for their old stuff, like their old childhood toys. But a lot of that stuff gets moved to the basement over years and years. You can't have all of it displayed. So I bet they like to rummage through. My brother does this, even though they're in a different house, they still have things of ours. And during Thanksgiving, he brought Hot Wheels upstairs and played with them. He is 33.
That's awesome. That's awesome, by the way. That's amazing.
Just as a side note, and he's a mechanic, so he was going over all the models to my baby.
It's great.
He's like, taste this Chevy. It probably tastes cheaper than the Ford, right? He's like doing all this stuff. So.
My germs were on here 20 years ago.
Yes.
All right, so Kenzie thinks goes in the basement, rummage for your old stuff. The first thing you do at the holidays when you go back to the house you grew up in. Case, what do you think it is?
Raid the pantry. My parents buy Chips Ahoy. I do not. I go straight for the Chips Ahoy.
Why don't you buy Chips Ahoy?
Times are tough.
What?
Now listen, is it possible to not eat an entire sleeve of Chips Ahoy once you get in there? There's 3 sleeves in a Chips Ahoy bag or box, whatever it is.
You say that like you're an architect.
3 sleeves.
Yeah.
Breakdown of the design.
So you go in there, and I mean, there's no way you don't eat like 4 cookies. You eat a whole sleeve in one sitting, and then you have 2 other sittings with Chips Ahoy.
Especially if it is the red bag. Now, my family, you know, my mom, dad, brother, they're blue Chips Ahoy people, which means they like the crunchy Chips Ahoy.
And that means they're good people.
Okay, I like the chewy. I like the red bag. And if the red bag is in play, I'm not only eating a sleeve, I'm eating the sleeves. I'm eating the plastic in between the cookies. I'm eating everything.
I don't eat Chips Ahoy. I apologize. I just don't, because I make a mean chocolate chip cookie.
Bougie.
Listen, what I do eat, and it's an actual problem to the point where they're not allowed in my home, are Oreos. I have a real Oreo issue.
I'm not a big Oreo guy.
Especially when they're orange filled for Halloween. I don't know. I don't understand.
Orange?
The orange Halloween. I get itchy like an addict. Remember we were talking about the Boo Buckets a few months ago?
Yes.
Somebody put a family size, and I'm calling myself out, a family size pack of the orange Oreos in there. It was gone in 4 days, and no one else had one but me. And I believe family size is 4 to 5 rows.
You're fine.
I have issues.
You're okay. That's okay. That's normal.
I have big time Oreo issues.
Don't go with the FDA's recommended dosage of Oreos in a sitting. That's,
what does the FDA know?
That's BS. An Oreo and a half is like 200 calories. But I have
to cut it in half.
I have 2 important points about Oreos, then the Chips Ahoy.
Okay.
First off, with Kenzie bringing up Oreos, before we get to our fact here in 5 minutes, what 52% of Chicagoans do the first time, and you can guess at 312-591-8300, what they do, what you do in your childhood home when you grew up. Okay, Oreos. Here's a hack for you. Get the gluten-free double stuff. And I could care less about gluten. Give me more gluten. Pour the gluten over my head while I'm eating them. But for some reason, the gluten-free double stuff are just delicious. The cream inside flows like a waterfall down your throat. It's amazing.
Wait, are they liquidy? Just to clarify.
They're not liquidy.
Okay, I just want to know. You know what I'm getting into ahead of time.
It's so creamy. I don't know why, but the gluten-free Oreos are better than the regular Oreos.
Well, you have to get double stuffed.
And yeah, duh.
Go F yourself if you show up with regular stuffed Oreos.
That's right.
Don't come to this party with that.
Now, to Chips Ahoy, the red bag are for people going to hell. Case. That might not be your fault, but you're going to hell.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
And time for a fact that makes your brain just go. And we give you the payoff here. As we told you, 52% of Chicagoans this holidays will go back to their childhood home, the home they grew up in. And this is the first thing they do when they get inside the house. Kenzie thinks they run right to the basement, rummage through all your old stuff that you still have. There's always that box of something still in the basement, whether it's toys or who knows what. Mm-hmm. And you bring that upstairs and play with it like your 30-year-old brother did with his Hot Wheels.
Yep, in the middle of Thanksgiving.
It's pretty awesome. And Case thinks you run right for the pantry and grab Chips Ahoy, the blue bag, because they're salt of the earth people and have the blue bag, his family, in their pantry in the kitchen.
That's correct.
Case wishes it was red.
I could go off on a whole half hour about the red bag versus the blue bag and why if you go for the red bag, you're going to hell. I'm not going to do that because we have this fact to get to, which is more important.
Well, we will miss you, Case, but we're in heaven.
Right. I'm not saying that we're not going. Maybe, I don't know.
We're fine.
So, 52% of Chicagoans, and a lot of people guessed something similar to this. They said, you go check out your old bedroom. And that's on par with this, but it goes even further. So, 52% of Chicagoans, when they go back to their parents' house, the first thing they do is have sex in their childhood bed.
Woohoo!
That's what they do.
The first thing.
Well, listen, it might take a little bit of time. Might be that evening.
It's like, we'll be right back.
That's right.
That's weird.
It's some kind of weird thing. 52% of Chicagoans, when they get back to their parents' house, will have relations with the person they're with in their childhood bed, which is probably a race car bed or a single bed. Who knows what? I don't know if there's a kink there or not, but that's what people do in their child. 50. That's more than half will do that. Have you ever had relations in your childhood bed? Now, Kenzie, you said all your homes have been burned down to the ground. You burned them, your childhood homes.
My parents barely kept anything. Like, they do not care. Like, so, I mean, I've had relations at my parents' home.
It's there right now, the current
but it's
home.
not like I'm not like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait for this to happen. It's not like that.
Yeah, people. Case, what about you?
We've got it on the bedroom floor. But the bed squeaks, so it makes too much noise.
On the floor?
On the floor.
Oh, God. Is she on bottom?
Well, a lot of things are going on. It's a whole thing.
It's a rug bird.
Yeah. Well, if he has rug, you might have hardwood floors.
No, I got a rug.
Got a rug.
Exactly.
It's like a little orange mini shag or something like that in there.
Imagine her face back forth. Ow.
Well, I get it because my house, the floors creaked. Huge. And it's still, they sold the house a couple years ago. Sadly, it made me cry. But the house used to creak. And so if you ever tried to sneak out in the middle of the night when I was a kid, you'd hear this, and everybody woke up in the damn house because it was a small house. Like, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I'm just getting some water. Can I do that? I'm not trying to sneak out and go rob somebody.
As you do.
As I did.
Was that their first thought when the floor squeaked?
I think so.
Or I tried to rob somebody.
But I'm curious of our listener base who has done that. Like, who goes home to the childhood home and has sex in your childhood bed with whether it's your wife, girlfriend, or maybe just someone you brought home for the holidays that you just barely know.
That's weird. Don't bring somebody home for the holidays if you barely know them.
A lot of people, I know a lot of people that did that. They've been dating a couple weeks and they bring them home.
That's so odd to me. Wouldn't it be more enjoyable to not do that?
Not if you're having sex in your bed.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Sounds fun.
Weird.
Yeah. I had once in my childhood bed that was a twin bed, and I was in college by that point, but the person I brought home.
I don't think you could fit in a twin bed alone.
Oh, my feet hung over the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was they kept that bed. I still had the posters on the wall. You remember, Kathy Ireland, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model?
I'm aware.
So I had Kathy Ireland's poster up, John Belushi from Animal House that said college, that poster. And then I had a Michael Jordan all the way through poster. And I was like 20.
35?
Yeah, I'd go home and my mom never took down those posters. They stayed the whole time.
I cannot believe somebody was willing to sleep with you on a twin bed with those posters hanging up.
They
in
did.
The creaky floored home.
What's the problem with that setup? Pretty nice.
Absolutely not.
What's wrong with it?
I would never. No.
Tell me what's wrong with it.
Because it's like childhood weirdness.
That's the little exciting part.
That's weird. That's not for me.
I think I said that a little creepy.
You did, but I was going to let it go. I was going to give you a pass on it.
I also would like a brownie for you for not calling you creepy.
Let's go back to the tape here that sounded like. That's the exciting part.
You sound like a witch.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And the fact that makes your brain go that 52% of Chicagoans, when they go home to their parents' house or the house they grew up in, their childhood home, have sex in that room, their childhood room. And I think like a lot of people, I just described my bedroom. Until my parents moved out of that house just 3 years ago. It still had the same posters on the wall and the twin bed in there. My parents never changed the room.
Crazy. My parents changed the room when I was 18, like 3 weeks after I moved out. They kept nothing.
I picture you were walking out with a suitcase to move away forever.
Yeah.
And they had a remodeling crew out in the driveway.
Well, my mom was excited.
There was a crane in the front lawn.
What's the people from Austin, Texas? The Diana.
Oh, Chip and Joanna.
Chip and Joanna.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like Ross?
Yeah. Chip and Joanna were out in the driveway ready to remodel, make it a new bedroom.
Basically. So my mom was very excited, and she made it this little workout area, which lasted for about 3 months. And then my brother knocked up somebody he barely knew, and then my mom had to turn it into a nursery, and she was mad.
Oh, I thought you said you knocked that person up in that room.
No, not
Just
in that room.
somewhere
Maybe.
else.
I don't know where he was. I didn't ask him.
Maybe it was in a car.
I was like, hey, where was the child conceived? Just so I know. I didn't send that text message.
So he knocked up somebody. That had become a baby room. Her workout room got thrown out the window.
Yeah, so she had it for 3 months, and then it changed back into somebody else's room. And then when I visited, I had to sleep on the couch. And I'm like, well, she's new. I don't know why she gets a room. She just got here.
Damn right.
This baby.
You sleep in the crib.
Yeah.
In that room
lame.
that's now there.
Can't even share. Selfish baby.
A lot of people checking in. Chef Sean says, my parents moved my little brother into my room when I moved out, and so he could turn his old room into a, quote, computer room.
What was going on those computers?
I don't know.
It's probably very sticky.
Yeah. Yuck.
It is yuck.
Sometimes people use computers for good. They use it for not porn.
I'm sorry, a teen who wanted his own special computer room with like locked doors. Okay.
What are you going to do? Read an article? I don't think so.
Are they doing building computers?
Yeah, come on now.
God forbid, educate yourself with the internet.
Oh, those things can be pretty educational too.
What do you got on the text line, Case?
219 checked in. Of course, a lot of us relate to this fact going on and the fact of having relations in your childhood bedroom. Not 219. They checked in and said, I just checked the fridge. Y'all are wild.
And then Sean texted it and said, my son was conceived in a twin bed while my parents were sleeping in the room above.
Yeah, there's a lot of people checking in. Also, Indiana Ed said, conceived my middle son in my childhood bed during the holidays while staying with them.
Ugh.
So don't just say y'all are wild to us.
See, having two sons, I'm like, gross. Like, not in my house. You know what I mean? Just do it on your own time.
But
I
see,
don't want it happening in my house.
That's the excitement, though, of, I know what you're saying, not
Be
about
excited
your
somewhere
sons.
else.
It's just the excitement of the parents are next door. Your brothers, all the people
I
are
don't
next
want
door.
that. I stay up late. I don't want to hear anything. I don't like it. I don't like go live your life, but please not at my house.
That's good advice. Words to live
please
by.
don't do that.
Well, Brian, do you have a thing where you want to be caught?
I think makes things interesting when you're doing something dangerous,
You would like your mother to walk in on you having sex?
No, it's the point of trying to keep it secret. That's sexy. That's
so you
fun.
don't want them to walk in.
I don't
your
want them to walk
mom-
in, but there's a threat of them walking in.
Right, but you like it. You like the idea of your mom seeing you have sex.
No, you're taking it out of context there
I'm just
completely.
asking.
No, it's the danger. Listen, it's a dangerous aspect when you're having relations and someone could walk in. And that adds excitement.
But imagine if your mom walked in.
You're focusing on the wrong thing.
How would you feel if your poor mother who's had multiple eye surgeries lately?
She has. Well, she wouldn't be doing that. Hopefully not now. Though when me and Megan were at her apartment for Thanksgiving, we did nothing in that bedroom.
We did nothing in that bedroom because we did it right on the kitchen island.
That's right. Mom passed out, took her hearing aids out, didn't hear
That's nice.
nothing.
Oh, she took her hearing aids out.
Stole from her too? My God. What is wrong with people? Like, leave your parents alone.
People confirm that I'm normal and Kenzie's wrong on this one at 312-591-8300. There's an exciting aspect, to that little danger to the situation. Also, Juan checked in at 630. My parents turned my room into a walk-in closet.
Oh, that sucks.
That's so demeaning.
Honestly, I'm changing all my kids' rooms so they can't slip it up. I'm going to have a bunch of closets, all sorts of stuff. You're not doing it here.
Going this open floor plan, just knock down all of there and make your bedroom like 40 by 40 square feet.
It's just going to be my bedroom. When you go upstairs, the whole thing.
More check-ins here on this stat that says 52% of Chicagoans, when they go home over the holidays, stay at their childhood home. They will hook up. By the way, so 29% expect to hear from an ex while they're home from the holidays in Chicago.
Oh, yes.
And that could lead to a re-hookup,
No.
a redo.
Yeah,
if
and
you will.
everybody wants a redo.
Oh, yeah. And
It was already bad. I don't want to do it again. It didn't end well for me.
29% also said of Chicagoans they've hooked up with someone during the holidays and regretted it. That's awesome.
One of my exes, because they all did, but this particular one, so when he cheated on me,
Oh boy.
we would both end up at home for the holidays because it was my high school into like college sweetheart, right? So we'd both end up home for the holidays. And he would always try to like link up with me, but I didn't want to because he got somebody pregnant. I was like, that's mean. And so I didn't hang out with him. But I knew the girl was stalking me and I didn't like her because like she was kind of my friend when he cheated. So anyways, I used to tweet stuff like, love reconnecting with a heart just because I knew she would spiral and I wasn't even with him. I would tweet so many things that would make her think I was hanging out with him and just to ruin her day.
Very warm holiday there.
Yeah,
going on.
You're in the
For
spirit.
me. It was for me.
Mike checked in the Creed groupie, who we call him here in our phone screener. He said, this just gave me scars. I caught my sister having relations when she came home to visit. Thanks for bringing up the trauma, Michael and Shanahan. Well, sorry, buddy, but...
See, it's not fun when you get caught. Like, you think it's going to be fun, but then you get caught and it's just really uncomfortable.
Right, but the fun is trying not to get caught. I can't exaggerate that enough and accentuate that's the point of it.
Well, like Carlos says on the text line, because he agrees with you, Brian, the adrenaline is amazing.
Thank you, Carlos.
That's how mountain bikers describe what they do. An amazing adrenaline rush. And for Brian, that is making love.
Making love.
At his parents' home and stealing his mother's hearing aids.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.